Welcome back, everybody. It is another edition of What's in the Box, or also known as New Guitar Day. It is Monday morning. It is April the 13th, 2026. It's a beautiful early spring morning. Went out and took a nice long walk this morning. It just feels great. We had some delightful rain last night, which, given the current state of drought that we're experiencing here in Montana, every drop of rain is manna from heaven, as they used to say. So we're got something quite different from what I'm used to. Now, that being said, every guitar, no matter how different it is, we want to make a note of damage to the box, which we will take a picture of. I have no idea what effect it will have, but it's always good to document things as you reveal them. Anyway, so yeah, this is a guitar that was first introduced long ago, back in, I believe, 1963. And the story behind it is actually quite interesting. This is unusual, so it looks like they put the box in backwards. That's definitely an odd I guess that's the only way they could figure out to do it. Okay. Well, it does make it interesting. Anyways, the story behind it we'll get to later, because I just want to pop this thing out and just give it a check, make sure that it's all in one piece. And but this is a Chibson. Obviously, I'm not spending Gibson money, not a Gibson money kind of spending guy. And this is a recreation of a Firebird. And I don't know why they insist on putting this like weird styrofoam garbage. It does not feel overly heavy, which I guess in the day these were heavy guitars. And yeah, I'm sort of getting to the end of the road as far as just, there's not much that I haven't purchased. So I thought, why not? This one looked very interesting. And I'm a fan of interesting when it comes to trying new guitars. So behold. And it's a 3-pickup model, which I don't know if they ever actually made a 3-pickup model. So this is an unbranded guitar, so officially we can't call this a Chibson. The back is really pretty. The guy claims it's a neck through body. I don't believe that it is. Not for a second, not for the price. Bred ends feel really nice. That mahogany is very pretty. And the flame on the maple looks nice too. So yes, behold, it is a very, very nice looking guitar. And it doesn't look like there's any damage at all. I have no idea how the 3-way switch works. We're just going to go plug it in and give it a whirl. And we'll be back a little later this afternoon. Welcome back, everybody. Yes, it is still Monday, April the 13th, 2026. Not that it means anything to you out there, nor should it, except that you all have fathers and mothers, and today would have been my father's 103rd birthday. He was born in 1923. May he rest in peace. So we're back here. This is with the Unbranded And being as that it is unbranded, I don't know if this actually qualifies as being a Chibson. It certainly is a replica of a Firebird guitar, and I must say it's a very, very nice replica. The fit and the finish, the build quality on this guitar is really good. I've never owned a Firebird before, but I have owned my share of Gibson guitars, and yeah, as far as the fit and the finish, the fretwork, the body, really, really, really nice. You know, there's obviously some things about this guitar that the pickups, for example, on this particular guitar, now granted I've only had it for a couple hours and I'm going to do some dialing in. All these guitars could use new strings. I usually am too cheap to put them on. So I'm just going to mess with pickup adjustment and dialing it in. Thus far I'm not pleased at all with the tone from the pickups. But the playability on the guitar, the neck's a little bigger than my taste, but it's certainly something I could get used to. Most people's comments about Firebirds is that the bodies are huge. This doesn't feel huge at all. I'm playing sitting down, which is incredibly comfortable. The contour on the guitar, the tummy cut or rib cut or whatever you want to call it, really nice. The if it's mahogany, who knows, mystery wood. The figuring on the wood is just really, really pretty, and the flame, which is probably just paper, photo finish. I can't imagine that this is really a flamed maple top, but they did a really nice job. So cosmetically, visually, it's a pretty guitar. I've never seen a Firebird with sort of, I guess this would be just a different iteration of a Sunburst, but this was just really pretty. It caught my eye. And of course the three pickups caught my eye too. I can't quite figure out, again on these three pickup models, I don't know if the neck position is giving me both pickups or just the neck, if the middle is giving me these two perhaps, and this is giving me these two, I have no idea. But anyways, we will be back. This is sort of a feeding frenzy week because I've got two other guitars coming this week and potentially another one coming next week. And yeah, I know I've said it for years now. I keep thinking that I've run out of guitars that I want to try. This just sort of popped up. I never really even gave a Firebird much thought. And then this one popped up and I thought, wow, it's a really pretty guitar. And you couldn't beat the price, $230. I mean, I'm looking, and again, just relax, don't spit out your coffee. I'm not in any way comparing the quality of this to a real Gibson. But that being said, the difference between the price of this, even an Epiphone's got a Firebird out there that they want $1,600 for. It does come with a beautiful case, but I'm sorry, I'm just not seeing it. And I watched the review and I listened to it and I wasn't that impressed with the tone. I don't know if the playability is head and shoulders above this. You know, what I will say about hardware is its durability. I don't know if small potentiometers offer less tone, if cheap switches offer less tone. Pickups probably do make a difference. But durability is certainly, you know, if you get a Switchcraft or you're getting CTS potentiometers or you're getting Grover tuners, durability, right? Lasts 5, 10, 15, 20 years, no doubt. And I have no doubt that these small pots and the cheap switch and the cheap tuners definitely will not have that longevity factor. But in the short term, I wonder, are you really hearing the difference? I have no idea. Anyways, we will be back with more guitars, more comments, more fun in the sun. Till then. Oh, welcome back, everybody. It is now Tuesday. It's Tuesday afternoon. It is April the 14th. 2026, one day later than we were last year. We're jumping back in to put a period at the end of the sentence, which is something that I like to do. I've had this guitar now for about, 27 hours, and I've played it for about 6 hours, and here's my conclusion. I mentioned this to you earlier, yesterday. Again, thus far, I can't see that I would reveal anything different. The fit and the finish on this guitar are outstanding. And again, keep in mind this guitar is for sale for like $240. As I say over and over and over again, no doubt it doesn't in any way compare to the quality, the woods, the components, the electronics, the pickups of a real Gibson. But it also doesn't cost $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 and up, depending on what model and style you get. And if you're just looking to have some fun before you pass from this little speck of dust in this infinite universe, I highly recommend these. And since this is not branded as a Gibson, the guilt factor goes way down, so I'm not stepping on anyone's name. I've also mentioned this before, one of the key components of getting another guitar is making friends with that guitar. This guitar is not like a Les Paul. It's not like a Telecaster. It's not like a Stratocaster or many other. The Firebird has its own thing going on, and that becomes even more apparent when you go into the world of knockoff guitar. I have no idea what these pickups are made out of. People online are funny. Guitar people are some of the toughest people in the world. These are not mini humbuckers according to the aficionados. These are Firebird pickups, which were something different about them. But clearly in the land of replicas, who knows what these are. It's interesting because the only other guitar that I have that has something similar is this Rocket Harmony knockoff. And those would look like they're the same exact style of pickups, and of course Harmony had their own thing going on. So again, it's all proprietary, different. I'm sure these are as cheap as you can make them. They're supposed to be humbuckers, and I will say they're very quiet. There's no hum, so they seem to be bucking the hum as they were intended to do. The other thing that I notice on this guitar, very trebly. You have to dial back the treble knob to almost zero. Now someone mentioned, and I don't know if this is true just of the Chibson or the Slash knockoff guitars, they said that they use 500K potentiometers and you get much better results if you're looking for less treble with 250K. I don't mod my guitars, I just turn the dial and see if I can get my way out of it. Yesterday I wasn't liking this guitar so much sound-wise. Love the look of it. Love the feel of it. Again, the build quality, the fit and the finish, top notch. I just wasn't getting the sound out of it, and then I had to just relax and remind myself, this guitar is different, that's why I bought it, let's make friends with the difference. So that's what we're going to do. We have another guitar coming tomorrow, which is why I wanted to put the period on the end of the sentence. Again, the figuring on the back of this guitar, especially on the middle, very nice. The person that sold this guitar, I asked them, is this a neck-through body guitar? I don't believe it is. They do everything they can to disguise it. I mean, I'm sure they put wood filler and, it's hard to see, but I just have a feeling based on the price that it's not. But again, I don't care. It doesn't make any difference to me. I've got, they say that it has to do with the resonance and the sustain. Well, I've got bolt-on guitars that have more resonance than set neck guitars. And, this one's got quite a bit of resonance and quite a bit of ring when you strum a chord or do a string. It has quite a bit of sustain. But I wouldn't say more or less than a bolt-on or a set neck. So, again, maybe that was just some marketing ploy. But they used really nice woods. I mean, again, for an inexpensive guitar, the fact that there's any flame at all on the front is quite surprising. So, I like this guitar. So I'm just going to put it as, the other thing too, people talk about this being a really big guitar. Well, I'm almost 6'3", so I guess this guitar is not huge. I guess the smaller your stature is, the bigger this would get. Now, this body may be a little smaller than an actual Gibson Firebird, according to some people. It's really a nice size, and I really like this extension up here when you're laying your arm on it. It would have been really nice if they would have done a comfort contour, but they didn't. But I've got an RD coming, which they say is the love child between a Firebird and an Explorer, or a Firebird and an SG. And looking at the pictures, it looks like there may be a comfort cut there. So we'll see a contour, comfort contour. anyways, so yeah, this is the no-name Firebird, and it's a really interesting guitar. So we'll be back tomorrow with another guitar. Till then. Ooh, welcome back, everybody. It is now Wednesday. It's April the 15th, 2026, the early days of spring. Although they're predicting that we may get some snow tomorrow. Who knows? Anyways, as you can see, we're back. Actually, we're going to interrupt this video for just a moment. And then we'll cut and we'll do the other one. So this is my brand new Firebird guitar, and you'll notice it has an issue, and here's what the issue is. I've had this guitar for 2 days. I'm playing it this morning, sounds great, having a good time. Decide to stop, I unplug it and I hear ching, and I look and I go, what was that? And it turns out that the output jack nut has fallen off. So I find it, I think, okay, this will be an easy fix, and I go to fix it, and I put the nut in, and this, whatever you want to call it, the output jack part doesn't stick out of the guitar far enough for the nut to catch. So, and believe it or not, there's actually a washer there too, so I have no idea how it was even working previously, but now, as I will demonstrate, I'll be right back. This only takes moments, and again, keep in mind, I'm not using the washer, because of course there's a washer so that the jack doesn't dig into the guitar body, and there's just no way. It just wouldn't work. So this is a real-time explanation of the problem. You put the jack through, and it doesn't come through enough for the nut to catch. So I have no idea. I truly would hate to send this guitar back for such a weird problem, but I just can't seem to figure out a way to fix it, because I cannot get this thing stuck through the body of the guitar far enough to get the nut to catch. And what should just be a very easy fix isn't. Anyways, that's that. Now back. I did want to make one more comment, and that was, yes, today is April the 14th, 2026, and this would have been my grandmother, Alida Oliver. This would have been her 127th birthday. She was born in 1899 and passed away in 1966, so she's been gone now almost 60 years. But I think it's just sweet to mention people's names who we still remember, but they're no longer here, so happy birthday, Grandma.